Hi, it's Chris Rue here, and I'm really looking forward to helping you become the leader that you want to be. So today, I want to give you a couple of key questions that can help you improve the quality of your working relationships with your colleagues in your business. This particularly with your reports and peers. This is part of considering what makes for an effective relationship in the workplace. So I wonder if as a leader you've ever wondered why the way that you work with some colleagues seems to be seamless. A free flow of ideas and actions, an effective sharing of activities between you, and it just seems to work. As compared to other colleagues where, while in the same workspace and the same context, things just seem to be slightly out of kilter. They're not quite in the same place as you. Perhaps they need a lot of attention, or maybe they are seemingly quite nervous of you, going out of their way not to interact with you or bring ideas, to name a couple of possibilities. What we're observing here is this balance or imbalance of trust and respect between yourself and your colleague. Trust, of course, is not a respecter of titles, although some people believe that the title itself should be enough to command respect. Now, this comes down to the behaviours of both parties. As a leader, you have great scope to influence this result. Imagine this scenario where you're working away in your office and your colleague sees you in and wants to speak to you about their project or whatever they're currently working on. They pile into your office without knocking, a cheery smile on their face, and steam straight over to you, right into your face, speaking at a high rate of knots about their project and their big issue, and that they really need to be sorted right now. And clearly they have a lot of trust in you, but how much respect do you think they're demonstrating? Contrast this with the other colleague, who you see has been hovering outside your door for the last 5 minutes, apparently plucking up the courage to ask you something. But when you look up again, they've gone, having given up in fear of you being cross or irritated or not welcoming or any other hallucination that they may have come up with that's given them enough reason to just put off asking you the question. Clearly they have a lot of respect for you, but very little trust, wouldn't you say? So how do you know where you stand with these colleagues? And how can you start to address this issue? Well, this can be tackled on a number of fronts. One of those is the culture of the organisation or team that you're creating. Is it one where feedback and conversation is encouraged, or is it much more command and control, do as I say? If it is the latter, and there are times when that's necessary, you may have some perfect reasons as to why this is the case. But understand, this has an effect on the quality of the working relationships that you get, particularly if it's overused, or in the worst cases, the only tool in the box. A simple technique to start to break this down is to create some space and have a conversation where you can effectively recontract with your colleague. You can do this by simply asking your colleague about it, as daft as it sounds. As simple as it seems, many people don't ask each other this question. There are, of course, many ways of doing that, and it is best done carefully, perhaps as part of the next arranged one-to-one conversation you're scheduling. If it is not to be the main subject of your conversation, another good way is to use these questions as part of a 5-minute wrap-up at the end of a discussion. When, for example, you and your report are discussing progress on a particular project or holding your regular monthly objectives review. By remembering to check in at the end of that discussion with these questions, you will actually be reinforcing the two-way nature of your support towards your report and demonstrating high-level listening and engagement with them. So what are those questions? Well, they're really quite straightforward. And the first one is, how would you like to be managed? Or alternatively, how would you like us to work together? Is what we're doing currently working? Or depending on the person, what level of interaction between us works best for you? As a leader, creating the context of why you would ask that question does no harm either. I just want to make sure that we're working in sync together, and in order to support you and create the most effective relationship between us, there's some value in us chatting about how we might best work together. So, how much interaction do you need from me? Should we agree a level of contact that works for us both? Now then you can then combine that with this other key question, and that is, so how are you going to keep me informed of progress as you go forward with this project? By doing this, you're sending out significant signals of trust to your colleague, while also being able to ensure that the dialogue is two-way and that this is all in support of achieving the common purpose of the team and organisation. Those of you who have experienced our in-person experiential leadership days with horses, oh yeah, may recognise this scenario, as we discuss this concept in great depth, and you can gain a personal experience of what happens when you get the balance right between trust and respect. Then you find people follow you because they want to, not because they have to. If you want to know more about this, we expand more on the role and balance of trust and respect in leadership in our Resilient Leader online training course, now available online. It's actually in an early beta test phase, so if you would like to help and help us test this program, then do take advantage of the competitive rates that we have offered for our thanks for your help. So, back to that technique. In terms of practicing it, then all you have to do is look at your next one-to-one with your staff members, or even peers, and try these questions out for size. I'm sure there are plenty of opportunities where you're discussing a particular project or objectives review. Hopefully you can see that this can be a simple practice which you can then adopt, and the more you become comfortable with it, you're more likely to observe the success, as this just is another example of putting in place a simple feedback loop. And that, of course, can then become part of a regular part of your management check-in, particularly with your reports. But it does actually have great value with your peers as well. So, as with all practices, the first step is to decide to try it. And I'd be really interested to hear how you get on. Like all habits, these do take time to build, and I normally recommend people try a new initiative for 4 weeks or so, or with a significant number of people. So that allows it to become part of your expected behaviour and not just something you're trying as a one-off. By adopting this, you will help improve your connection, provided of course that you act upon the agreed levels of interaction and keep your side of the bargain. By addressing this, you will also improve the quality of the communication you get with your team members and people around you. You will improve the rapport with your colleagues and are likely to find that you are understanding each other rather more as you act upon each individual's personal style of working. Thirdly, this is another building block for helping people take ownership of their own development, as each colleague is effectively being asked to consider what kind of help and support they might need. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you get on with it. I'd love to hear if it works for you. If you found this helpful and would like to learn more leadership tips and techniques, then do click the link below to get to my free training. This can be found on chrisrue.com, where I am sharing a few of my tools and techniques that I have picked up over the years that we hope will enable you and help you become a more resilient and effective leader. In the meantime, let me thank you for watching. I wish you good luck going forward with your leadership challenges, and thank you for letting me help you become the leader that you want to be. Bye for now.